Well, the defense rested in its case in Donald Trump's hush money trial today. Proceedings are now a step closer to closing arguments.
WGN's Shannon Halligan has the latest on the trial and what comes next.
Yeah, well, the jury was sent home for the week until May 28th. That's when closing arguments are expected to begin. However, what stood out today, the former president did not take the stand, despite numerous times he said he wanted to. Donald Trump had a lot to say outside of the courtroom after his defense team rested in his hush money trial Tuesday.
Judge hates Donald Trump. Just take a look. Take a look at him. Take a look at where he comes from. He can't stand Donald Trump. He's doing everything in his power.
But inside the courtroom, the former president did not end up taking the witness stand.
Now, most notably, former President Trump did not take the stand, did not testify in his own defense. Trump had long said that he wanted to testify, that he wanted to take these allegations of a hush money scheme and reimbursements that were labeled as legal expenses. He wanted to take them head on. But ultimately, he and his lawyers decided that he would not testify.
Trump has been charged with falsifying records in order to disguise the true nature of payments made to one of his lawyers, Michael Cohen. Prosecutors said the money was for Cohen's work suppressing negative stories about his boss during the 2016 presidential campaign. That includes one about an alleged sexual encounter with porn actor Stormy Daniels. The jury is expected to hear closing arguments after the Memorial Day weekend.
Normally, when the defense rests, we go right to closing arguments. But because of the impending Memorial Day holiday, the judge says there's not enough time to get all the things that are needed to get done.
After court, Trump criticized aspects of the case and President Joe Biden.
It's destroying our country with the borders.
Meanwhile, in D.C., Democratic leaders in the Senate plan to move forward with a border bill.
This is the same bipartisan border bill Republicans pushed for, then backed away when they got orders from President Trump, made an about-face, turn, and then voted no.
Something Republicans across the aisle are calling a gimmick.
So I think it's safe to say going to a border bill right now is just a gimmick, a way to try to convince the American people that they're concerned about this when they caused it.
Closing arguments in the hush money trial are expected to begin a week from today. The judge will then instruct jurors before they begin deliberating.
All right, Shannon, appreciate it.